Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's watch party for In Search of Darkness for the classic film from 1986. I don't know, would you say it's a horror or is it a fantasy? It's probably a bit of both. Troll, and I really can't wait for this. I'm Andrew, as always, and I'm joined by Carla. Hello, Carla.
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. We've got a lot of our great friends joining us on YouTube and on our Discord server. I can see we've got Hannah, we've got Drew in there, we've got Mad Matt, we've got Calbot, we've got Jedi Wizard, Chaos Puppy, Eric. I think that's everyone. If I missed you out, say hello. Oh, got Brainwire as well. Hello, Brainwire. And over on YouTube, we are joined by Cindy Settles, Rainbow Fright, and Mikhail Debrugin, if I say that wrong, I'm not sure. And he says, still think Troll is a body horror movie. Oh, Trixie is joining us on Discord. Hello, Trixie. I can see Edward the Black Prince is typing. Hello, Edward. So, everybody, today's sync point will be just when the MGM logo comes up, and we'll start from there. So if everyone gets themselves ready, let's ask. So when did everyone see this film first? Carla?
Yes.
When did you see it?
I know I didn't see it in the theater, so this is definitely a video rental, and then it would come on TV all the time. So in '86, when it came out, I was 8. So I saw it around about like 8 or 9.
I would have been the same age. And again, it was one of my infamous video store rental mishaps by my father, who rented it when I was 8 or 9 from the video store. My mother dispatched him on a Saturday night, go and get some movies, sort of something a bit more grown up for us and something for the kids. And he thought it was like a fairy tale film. Well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I got to the Sonny Bono scene, which I'm not going to describe quite what happens, but I think we all know the scene with the ring. And I basically screamed and ran out of the room as a child, and I had nightmares from it. It was quite traumatic for me.
Yeah.
Joshua Nelson's joining us. Hello, Joshua, on YouTube.
Right. And if this is your first time watching Troll, put a 1 in the chat.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I can see Jedi Wizard saying this was a Your Brother Picked It Out video rental in 1987 for him. And Embry is saying, I don't think I've ever seen it, not that I remember. We've got a lot of first timers.
Okay.
Bikeys is saying they haven't seen it. Hello, Bikeys. Right. Rainbow Fruit saying, I haven't watched it in years since the second one more. Right. Okay.
Well, if this is your first time, you're in for a treat.
Oh, hello, Ian. Ian Birchall is joining us in the live chat as well. Welcome, Ian. Right. It's a special movie. Yes. Phonic. Welcome, Phonic. It is. It's probably the first time we see a Harry Potter on screen.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, yeah. It's not the Harry Potter, it's a Harry Potter.
Yes, Harry Potter Jr.
Yes, played by the legendary 80s icon Noah Hathaway, who we know from Neverending Story as Atreyu, and also he famously played Boxy in Battlestar Galactica in 1978.
Yep.
So, right, if everyone's ready, let's start the countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play. There we go. I can see Mad Matt has posted some images of him as Atreyu with Artax, or the horse in the swamp of sadness. I'm still not over that. And a picture of him as Boxy. Oh, and Doug Curtis has joined us in on YouTube saying, this is a favourite from when I was a kid. Loved June and Anne Lockhart as unison. This, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
They use the mother and daughter to play the same character at different ages.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start this. I can do a poll on YouTube and Discord. I'll just take your answers. So what I'm going to say is, I want to know, do you think this is a fantasy or a horror film? So I'll take the answer off Facebook. I'm sorry, on YouTube. I'm putting a poll up there, which is quite cool.
Okay. Yeah, was it more horror or more fantasy?
Okay. I want to know from YouTube, do you think it's a fantasy or a horror? And the question goes to our Discord as well. So let's wait for that to go through on YouTube, hopefully. But Mikhail is saying, together with Ghoulies, it freaked me out. The Ghoulies toiled and troll with the toilet scene in Ghoulies and the troll pod scene. Oh, and of course, actually, yeah, that's a good point, Mad Matt. Anne Lockhart also played, was it Sheba in Battlestar Galactica, the daughter of Admiral Kane?
Yeah, she was in a couple of iconic TV shows. That one, she was in Lost in Space, the mother, and then she was also
Yep.
in Lassie, too. So she had quite a TV career.
Okay, so we've got the poll didn't work, so let's try again.
Oh, and right, this film executive producer Charles Band. So you know you're in for a special treat. And it was written by Ed Naha, who co-wrote this film with John Carl Buechler. Is it Buechler or Buechler? I think it's Buechler, how you pronounce his last name.
Buechler? I'm not
Buechler?
sure, really. It might be.
But Ed Nada, he wrote Dolls, Chud 2, and then Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So he has quite a range there from, you know, Dolls to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to the animated film 10 Commandments in 2007. So
now this is very interesting. This is very telling. I really like this. So the Discord community, Calbot is torn, saying it's horror fantasy or maybe fantasy horror. Jedi Wizard saying it maybe leans more on fantasy. Edward the Black Prince saying Troll's Magic Ring makes it seem more fantasy and the music's very fantasy. But over on YouTube, it's 60% saying horror, 40% fantasy.
Interesting. Well, the folks on YouTube would be more in line with what the director, John Carl Buechler, wanted. He wanted Troll to be a slasher film. So he was going to have the monster just going around like slasher style, killing folks off in the apartment complex. But the producer, Charles Band, was like, no, I want a PG-13 film. So let's make it more fantasy and less horror. So it is truly a bit of both. But the intention initially was going to be just a straight up horror film.
And also we were just seeing another 80s kind of TV icon on screen at the moment. I'm sure probably going to be Mad Matt, but I'll also ask the question of our communities on YouTube as well. That's right. I knew Mad Matt, you'd get it. That's right. Where have we seen her before? And ask of our friends over on YouTube. This is Jenny Beck, who most famously, most famously played Elizabeth, the Star Child, in the Final Battle miniseries and in a few episodes of the very short-lived TV show.
Yes,
she was the hybrid.
Oh, okay. That's, you know what, I'm glad you said that, because it seems that she has the ability to play kind of mature, complex characters for a child actor, and which is applicable in this movie as well.
In my mind as a child, I always got her mixed up with the girl from Poltergeist. I think just the long blonde hair.
Oh yeah, I mean, her name in this film is Wendy Ann, Carol Ann. And if you look in her bedroom, like the bed frame is like the exact same as the one in Poltergeist. Yeah. So I think that's not just a coincidence. I mean, this movie starts off right away, like, don't really build up with the characters, don't really, you know, do any of that. It's like, boom, we're just going to start off.
I've got to be honest, for the budget of this film, which was very low. I mean, the budget was, you know, up to 1.1 million at most, they say. It's got pretty decent effects. Yeah.
Well, that's because you have the special effects genius who's directing and doing special effects for the film, John Carl Buechler. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric's saying, Hoggle, what happened to you? He does look a bit like Hoggle from Labyrinth, doesn't he?
Like they could be brothers or cousins.
Yeah. Oh, Mad Matt says he watched The Making of Troll last night and they readily admit the Carol Ann reference.
Yep. This was about, what, 2 years after Neverending Story? Because Neverending Story came out in 84. This came out in 86.
That's right, yeah.
And he really aged.
Yeah, he shot up a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Shot a hell of a lot. Now, it'll be quite interesting to see how many stunts he does as himself here, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but Noah Hathaway, when they were making Neverending Story, actually got a back injury that until quite recently he had to have surgery to repair.
Oh, wow.
So he'd always had back niggle pains for a long time in his life.
Huh. Yeah.
Oh.
That is the most disgusting burger I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can't have tomato on a burger either.
Now, what's interesting in this film is that it didn't let us as a viewer really get to know who Wendy Ann was before she became the troll. And we're just supposed to kind of get that sense of she's different from her brother's eyes and her family's eyes. But then also, like, what kid acts this obnoxious, right? Like, so although
it does seem to be a rather dramatic change for her.
Yes.
Now, something we often speak about in movies, and something I have to keep an eye out, we often speak about product placement in the movies. I don't know if you noticed that the Pepsi bottle there had half the logo missing. So I'll have to look for any other sort of branded products that we may see in the film. If the logos are distorted or covered up or replaced or something, maybe they couldn't get authorization to have certain products available in the film.
Right.
Oh, Rainbow Fright or Freet, saying the Neverending Story could be considered a horror for the horse scene alone, the Swamp of Sadness.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Neverending Story, as everyone knows, we are moving into doing some fantasy movies in our mix now. Neverending Story will be a watch party later this year, so keep an eye on our socials, and that's going to be a tremendous one.
You know, I feel like in the 80s, they didn't really pander or talk down to kids. No. I don't think that they would do that scene or a movie like that today. Because it would ask too much of a child. I think back then, you know, they kind of saw us as like little mini like adults or something.
I think so. But don't forget, Neverending Story was shot in Germany from my recollection. So maybe the child labor laws were slightly different over there.
Right.
But yeah, that's going to be a tremendous one. We've got some great 80s fantasy even 80s fantasy horror lined up later this year, apart from Neverending Story. We're going to do, and I know this is one of your favorites, Carla, but I also know it's a traumatic film for you. Return to Oz will be a film later this year.
Listen, I'm giving you my bill for my therapist. I'm billing CREATORVC for my therapy. That's all. Okay. Man, oh my gosh.
This is such a strange concept to me, living in the UK. We don't tend to have kind of apartments that work the same way as this over here. It's like
it's an interesting way to, in a really quick way to introduce us to all the characters in the apartment building by having this like false fire alarm go off, and then you get the quick introduction of each character.
Oh, Doug Curtis. Okay. Rainbow Fright says I pronounced it correctly. It is Rainbow Fright. Well, welcome, Rainbow. It's great to have you with us. And Doug Curtis says Return to Oz is a straight up horror film disguised as a kid's movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has Fairuza Balk. I think that's how you pronounce her last name, who would go on to be in The Craft.
Yeah.
So.
And The Worst Witch, which everyone still loves, even though it's dreadful.
Listen,
everyone loves it.
I love that movie. And here we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep. She was dating this actor at the time, I believe.
Now they're married. It's her husband now. This is her first feature film, and one that she does not like to talk about. And apparently there's a clip of her on Jay Leno, and he ambushed her with the scene from this film, and she was annoyed, to say the least. She was not happy. Doesn't
take it in good humor like George Clooney does with Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
No, not at all. But to be fair, and this, you know, what I think also what happened is that there was a photo posted of her from this film in a magazine, one of the horror magazines, and it was like they showed her bare breast. So she might feel kind of exploited, or, you know.
Yeah. It's not as not that respectful as it could have been.
Right.
But I don't think any actor should be ashamed of a role they've ever performed, no matter what it was.
Oh yes, Mad Map. She was in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation. Well. She was Margot and Todd. That's June Lockhart, isn't it? Very most famous from Lost in Space. We're just seeing there.
And one of my favorite character actors is the father, Michael Moriarty. Moriarty. He was in my favorite role of his is The Stuff. If you guys are a fan of Michael, what is your favorite film of his? He's been in quite a few. Q, The Winged Serpent, The Stuff. I think Alive, one of the Alive movies. I think this movie. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this is also what happened with 80s kids with all the E numbers in the cereals and the candy at the time.
Exactly. I was going to say, I think as a kid, this movie made me be like, I don't want to have kids.
Yeah,
like I'm good. It goes crazy.
It looks like quite a decent apartment, though.
I actually have a thing. I love the sub genre of like apartment film, horror, thriller, movies. And I think because one, I live in an apartment building, and it's just fascinating the people that I run into on the elevator. I'm always wondering like what's their story, like what's really going on. So I know, I guess this one, I think Crawl Space is another one.
Or Child's Play.
Oh yeah, Child's Play.
Because Child's Play, when we did the watch party of that, we were discussing the fact that she's living in an apartment she could not afford on the salary as a 13-counter clerk in New York. Oh, I just love this stereotypical kind of 80s sleaze, satin sheets, slime ball.
That apartment is out of control. Like whoever did the set decoration for this apartment. And you know what's funny though? Like this film was done in Italy.
Right.
And they had mostly Italian crew. So it's interesting to get the Italian crew's take on American 80s in America,
It's an 80s Playboy magazine apartment. The kind of the ultra sophisticated, it's an apartment out of catalog. It's an apartment out of Bachelor catalog.
Yeah,
it's probably the best way to describe it. In fact, I think probably what they did was they had some kind of a catalog of Bachelor apartment stuff, and they went, right, that's it, we recreate the room, just order everything out of it, because it is with the whole faux Chinese, Japanese divider boards, the silk and satin sheets, the smoked everything chrome and the glass. Yeah. Yep, and that's not changed much as well. I can see they've got a Cuisinart food processor there, and it's very much like mine, where you have about 5 boxes for all the blades and accessories for the thing that you use once every 6 months.
How many times did I wish I could do that to my older brother?
I don't think I'd give, if I was the older brother and my little sister manhandled me and threw me across the kitchen, my dad asks what's going on, I don't think I would give her a pass on that and say I tripped. Oh, we're coming to the scene now.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm trying to think. Is that what type of, is that a record player? What is that?
It's jukebox.
Oh God.
He's got a
Okay.
jukebox and a record and a stereo.
Okay.
If you look on top of that kind of cabinet, he's got a stereo with a record player, disco lights, speakers, and an amplifier. But he's also got what looks to be a jukebox of some kind.
Okay. The kind of the theme throughout the running theme throughout this movie, it's just interesting how this little girl is just popping up in these strangers' apartments.
Yeah.
And they're just like conversing with her instead of like, get out of here, kid. Like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, I'd be like, excuse me, where are your parents?
Exactly.
And if she was doing this right now, oh. So I don't get it. I guess it's trying to frame that he's an absolute, oh, this scene, oh no, this scene.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Mad Matt, he's an 80s Quagmire from Family Guy. But, oh, this scene, it was, when it all starts in a minute, oh.
It's really gross. It's just.
It is awful. This was literally right out the screen. My mum, tape out the VCR. You're not watching this. Oh, it's just
well the thing is, there we go, the bladder effects.
Yeah.
At one point, this is Sonny Bono, this switches over to someone else because he wasn't available for the full length of the film, only a few days. So during the second stage of the transformation,
yeah,
there was this makeup supervisor like double for him or whatever.
So I was going to say quickly, just while this scene's happening, everybody on YouTube and in our Discord, do you think this scene is absolutely disgusting and disturbing? He's also got an arcade machine now we can see as well in his Playboy pad. But this,
it's just gross. Like,
it is.
You know, it's almost, it's on the level with Society for me, this scene. And that's saying a lot. But it's just,
it's really kind of out of place in the movie in some ways for me, because the rest of it isn't this gross.
That graphic, right? It's not that graphic. I think this is where they were trying to maybe get at the horror element.
Yeah.
A little bit. Now, why is the troll surprised? He's like surprised at what he's saying. I'm like, didn't you want to make this happen?
Yeah.
Isn't this what's supposed to be happening?
I guess though, if you well, we'll talk about, I'm not going to spoil the movie for those who haven't seen it because of stuff that happens, but yeah, so we can see Harry just going up the stairs and something weird's going on. But so is that supposed to be Sonny Bono's character has now turned into that little kind of mini creature from the Black Lagoon?
Well, see, that's what I thought, but then there's several creatures that pop up.
Yeah.
But I think that's the main one, though.
Yeah. So we've got Mad Matt saying it's like a Kinder Egg, you get a different surprise every time. And Embry saying it's a tiny little swamp thing.
Oh, and also, so this movie is called Troll, right? But apparently he's the main monster is the only troll in the movie. All the other characters he creates are like goblins and fairies and nymphs.
Oh, I like that. The hint of her magic there. The door kind of opened without her touching it. I don't know if you noticed.
Can I just say, I would watch this movie so many times and I absolutely loved Eunice. Like, I wanted her to be my grandma. I wanted her to be like, I loved her so much. She was the coolest.
So he summoned the ghoulies, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
It must be kind of fun for the child actress to be acting with all these little creatures and stuff and stroking them. And I guess they weren't so scary when you were playing with them.
Right, right.
Oh, and I forget.
Now, who thinks this little mushroom puppet is cute or just crazy looking?
I would die for him or her. It.
Are you a fan of the mushroom lamp?
I like the little mushroom creature. It's sweet. Yep, Phonic says the shroom is cute. It's the baby Yoda of Troll.
You know what it sounds like? If you close your eyes, it sounds like Gizmo at times.
A bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It's wonderful that June Lockhart's actually still with us as well.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. She's still alive, it says. Let's see how old she is now. She is 96 years old.
Wow.
And she'll be 97 this year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you look at the painting behind Harry, the guy in there looks familiar, right? Does anyone in the chat, does anyone know who that's supposed to kind of resemble, or who that man is modeled after in the painting?
Do you know who she reminds me of from another 80s TV show? I don't know if anyone remembers a very short-lived 80s TV show called Mr. Merlin.
No, I don't.
It was about a young man who befriends basically Merlin. Merlin has lived to modern day, and he takes on an apprentice of a young boy in the 80s. Very similar kind of thing, that kind of vibe you get from her, this kind of wise, quirky friend. Yes. Movie Guy 78, welcome. He says on YouTube, the painting is supposed to be the director.
Yes, you are correct.
I'm assuming as well this person is the troll suit actor we're seeing at the moment.
Yes, Phil Fondacaro. Yeah, he actually, you know, the director wanted him, but the producer wanted Billy Barty to play this role. So what the director did is he molded the costume specifically to Phil Fondacaro. And so he knew that the producer didn't want to pay two different actors.
Right.
So that's how he was able to get him in the film. And I think he did a great job in the movie.
I think he did a great job.
Oh my gosh.
He's also, I mean, he's still with us, and he's been in so many things. He's of course he played an Ewok because I think they hired every little person actor in the world for Return of the Jedi. Oh, I can see Icy Matty's joined us. Welcome. Good morning, Icy Matty, our friend, has joined us.
But I think this is one of his better performances.
Yeah.
In a movie, for sure. They give him something really meaty to kind of work with.
I do find, of all the characters in this film, though, I find the mom to be a bit of a weak character for some reason. She's a bit vanilla ice cream.
Right, not really given. Well, both the parents are kind of not really given much to do.
Yeah.
Be reactive, you know.
Yeah.
But what other 80s movie was she in where she played a mom? Actress Shelley Hack.
We have a question for our chat on YouTube and Discord. Oh, and of course, the stereotypical army type nut you have to have.
Right.
Every apartment block has to have one.
Of course.
In the 80s, you have to have this kind of character. Oh, Hannah, referring to the mushroom creature. Well, he seems like a fun guy. You get the feeling here they wanted some Jimi Hendrix and they couldn't license it.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, okay, he's rocking out to this song. All right. It's funny, he had really no clue how to approach his character. And he went to the director. He's like, yeah, so like, what's my motivation? And apparently the director got like a bucket mop like hat and like just put it on his head and didn't say anything. And so the actor was like, so I'm supposed to look ridiculous? Okay. And that's,
yeah, well, it's proper
cute.
It's proper dad dancing he's doing.
Right. But listen, we've all had these moments, let's not lie, where you're in your living room, you're by yourself, you put on a song, and you just wild out.
Doug Curtis on YouTube says, oh, and Joshua Nelson as well, but welcome to both of you on YouTube. They say she was in Stepfather.
Yes. Yes. You
and
are correct.
Kelvin Fraser says, I have a copy of Troll from the Cleveland Convention from Full Moon Entertainment. That's very cool.
Oh, cool. Now his apartment is just,
yeah,
we get it. You're a military guy. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question for as we go through the movie. I want to know, who do you guys think has the coolest apartment?
That's a good question.
Yes. So
let's preface it though. It can't be the old lady's apartment.
Right. Because she would win. Okay, so aside from the old lady, whose apartment you think is coolest? Now we have just a few, I think like one or two more, maybe just one more, but yeah. Embry says Bono's.
Well, before
right.
Bono's before or after the troll facelift. Mad Matt saying, if Andrew isn't familiar with any of these apartment tenants, why does it remind me of Spaced? It might do a bit, but I've never really lived in an apartment, and I've never kind of lived in an inner city area where I would experience that kind of living, or even know people who live. I've always lived in areas where everyone has a house. So the Edward Black Princess Sonny's apartment as well.
Brainwire 4 says military guy.
Oh no, he's got magic bulletproofness from his amulet. Oh, I don't. It's this bit. It's just the kind of smiley grin. The ring,
exactly.
The needle comes out.
You know, I'm so happy. Initially, they were going to use like a fully animatronic puppet for the troll. I'm so happy they did like practical, like in costume. You know.
Exactly. Embry says, he got shot right in the plot shield. Oh. I've got to be fair, the troll's a bit of a dick, to be honest.
I
Everybody
know.
Isn't he? He's like,
poor Harry. Poor Harry. Embry says, music so loud, no one heard a gunshot. Well, maybe it was like a magical force field sound or something that he made it so you can't hear what's going on inside
maybe
the apartment. Maybe.
Also, the Potter's apartment is enormous compared to everyone else's.
Well, I don't know. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jeanette's her apartment coming up is pretty big too. I think if I remember.
Oh, he's summoning more. Yeah, it's definitely like the ghoulies have just suddenly being summoned to the apartment. Dungeon
Oh,
Master poster.
Parasite poster, Dungeon Master. Apparently, it's one of the puppets from Dungeon Masters, like in this film, like a brief appearance.
I don't know if this is cost saving or if it's actually her bedroom. They've redressed it because he's actually got the same bed as her with that quite sort of girly white frame.
Yeah. Fortunately, I never had to share a room with a sibling growing up. I don't know if you did, Andrew.
No.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I don't know. Are they sharing a room? Because it's the same wallpaper as her bed, but I can imagine they wouldn't redecorate on the day they move in.
Look at that matte painting of San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge.
I was going to say that apartment's going to be very expensive if that's its location with that view.
Right?
Oh. Michael DeBrugian on YouTube says, wasn't the rat demon from Ghoulies in this movie? Possibly. Let's keep an eye out for it.
Again, it's like my daughter's friend is some like 30-something-year-old man. Okay.
Yeah. Even if it is a little person.
Right.
You'd still find it inappropriate.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old or 8-year-old, whatever, she's supposed to be brings over a 35-year-old man with a mustache and a bottle of wine, then I've got some serious questions going on.
Right. Chocolate milk. I was never a fan of chocolate milk.
Okay. I like chocolate milk, but the strange thing is in the UK when I was a kid, you couldn't buy chocolate milk in the supermarkets. You didn't buy flavored milk. Most places still don't sell. You buy milkshake, like in a bottle, but actually flavored milk, like, because I've been to America, I know you get it the same as you buy milk, you can just buy it flavored, not here. So we'd have to have Nesquik powder. Add it to regular milk here.
Oh, Nesquik. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the mom's reflecting the sheer awkwardness of the moment.
This movie within a movie is hilarious. Is that a real movie?
That's what I'm wondering, actually. I'm going to have a quick look, but I'm sure our community can find it faster than I could quickly look it up. Now, Phil Fondacara, who we're seeing here, is a great actor, but he did a voice in a movie that I know you've done some social media posts on recently, and it could be one I could get someone who could help us a bit with it. The unspoken Disney film, The Black Cauldron. He did some voices in that.
That's right, he did.
Yes, and it's all based around Welsh mythology. And as you probably know, I live in Wales, not far from Carmarthen, where all the Merlin legends are based. I have friends who are fluent in the history and the language and that kind of stuff. So maybe I'll get one of them to join us for a Black Cauldron watch party sometime.
That would be cool. That would be cool. No, I love like mythology and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Oh, this is where I find the score. No, yeah, I find this scene really strange.
Yes. So this song, the troll song, is Cantos Profane. And it was recorded prior to doing the film. Richard Band always, he does the music for this film, and also most of his brothers productions did the music for this film. And so he kind of used this song as kind of like built the musical score for the movie off of this song. I like the song. It's weird,
Yeah.
and they were supposed to be able to fully sing it, but there were so many limitations with the puppets. All they can do is kind of just mumble along with the
Let's be fair,
song.
they're not the trolls from Labyrinth.
Right, exactly. There's going to be no dancing numbers, no dance
No,
sequences, you know.
no.
Um,
But I will say, of course, under our In Search of Legends watch parties later this year, there will be a Labyrinth watch party. That's a given.
yes.
Some David Bowie action. But that is nightmare fuel, that kind of half troll, half spider.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Kelvin Fraser says, I love that song. And Mikhail Deboujian says, The Horned King, the best Disney villain ever. And Zach Wright agrees. It's a tremendous film, The Black Cauldron. It's just a dirty secret of the Disney films, for the animated ones.
I know. It's been forever since I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's that old school Disney animation.
1985, I believe,
Mhm.
from memory. Okay, that's definitely one of the ghoulies in that painting.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
the one that comes out the
is.
toilet, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He's photo bombing them, or painting bombing them, as it would have been.
She's like, enough of this.
Yep.
Although you should have seen the look on my mom's face last night during the scene when we were watching it. She was like, what is going on? It's like, what do you have me watching?
Have we finally found the limit for your mother?
we
Is
may
troll
have.
the limit?
We may have. Although she is a fan of Troll 2. So
Wow.
I was trying to, but she's like, this is nothing like Troll 2. I was like, I know, Mom. It's nothing like Troll 2, but it's the first film. But yeah.
Actually, let's get that elephant out of the room. Troll 2 is a sequel to this movie. As probably most of our friends joining us today know, it's a sequel in name only.
Exactly.
And in fact, it doesn't even feature any trolls. It features goblins.
Right.
Because the town's called Nilbog. What a clever way to hide the fact that it's got goblins there.
Right. And then the third film, it really has nothing to do with the first one at all. I think it has one of the hobgoblins from the second movie in it or something.
Yeah.
But there is something that connects all three films together. Planticide.
Okay.
Yes. Plants killing people, people turning into plants. That's kind of a theme for at least all three films.
I'm sorry, but the parents are so lax in discipline with the little girl. The mom is an enabler. The kid, give him his juice back, and she just pours it on the floor. And the mom's like, only a little bit of juice.
Oh my gosh. If I did that, I wouldn't be here today.
No, exactly.
I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't exist today.
No.
So
Yeah. the thing I even recognize is that orange juice the mom is serving them is the jug she's using. We had one very similar to that. And it used to, I don't know if you can still buy it in America. You can't buy it here anymore. Frozen orange juice, where you'd get the concentrated orange juice in the brick and you'd put it in the jug and add the water and it defrost and become fresh orange juice. Have you seen that before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. You used to buy like it was frozen concentrated orange juice, and it was like in a little plastic tube. You kind of pull it and tip it in. It was like a big ice cube of concentrated orange juice.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the jug that you could get as when you bought like 3 of them, they'd give you a free jug. Exactly. And Embry's saying, I had that OJ as a kid in the 80s. Yeah, we used to have it. And it was more like drinking what we over here would call squash, which is very, well, I'm going to let you into a secret of the UK. We don't have powdered drinks like Tang here.
Oh, okay.
If you want to drink like an orange drink from a concentrate, we have it in a syrup. We call it squash here. We buy it in bottles, and it's a syrup that we add to water. Whereas you would add the powder from Tang to the water to make the drink. Completely different here. But anyway, yeah, that's what we have now.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is I guess the final kind of apartment.
Yeah.
I like her style, but it could use a little bit more decorations, more stuff on the wall. I like the color scheme,
I'm also assuming that her partner, husband, boyfriend, whoever we saw earlier, is probably quite well paid, because that's not on a waitress salary. You having an apartment decorated probably that well.
Right.
She is very young there.
Very young. And this is interesting. Like this, so you have this little girl who's playing a troll that's playing a little girl that's hitting on this woman. All very awkward.
Movie Guy 78 says Wendy never learned you don't piss on hospitality, and Kelvin Fraser says Troll, the first one, is way better in the realms of sword and sorcery than its sequels. I'd agree. It is more of a proper fantasy film.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Andrew, if you could live forever, but you had to live as a mushroom plant,
no.
Would you choose to live forever?
No, not as a mushroom plant. Mikhail Debrugin on YouTube says, never liked the second one. I was hoping for a direct sequel, but was let down after the movie. He was too young to get the so bad it's good vibe. I can understand that, because that's, you have to be older for that.
Yeah. And I highly recommend the documentary about the making of the Troll 2.
Best worst movie?
Yeah, best worst movie. Oh, you have to see it.
Yeah.
It's really good. And it's not like haha making fun of them good. It's like kind of heartwarming, actually.
Embry says Embry says the old lady here made a lot of pancakes. It was the 80s. She had something she bought off QVC that automatically made pancakes in outrageous quantities. It was the 80s. That's what happened.
Right.
So we can see here that maybe the troll does have an affection for her, because her transformation has not been quite so dramatic.
Right. I think she's supposed to be a nymph.
Yeah. Some kind of woodland nymph or something.
Yeah, yeah. I think Harry is taking all this quite well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be saying what was in the pancakes? Was the mushrooms in the pancakes?
Right.
Mad Matt saying awkward other situations for a child actor, showing Tom Cruise for Interview with a Vampire with the little girl. And Embry saying having to meet Tom Cruise is awkward even for adults. Yeah, what you're probably not realizing there is that even with a child, Tom Cruise is stood in a box to make himself appear taller.
Noah Hathaway is kind of had an interesting life post Never Ending Story. He's like heavily into the martial arts. I think he does some motorcycle racing.
Tattooist as well.
Yeah, he's a tattooist. And I think he's struggled a little bit with the movie Never Ending Story and the fandom and having that always follow him in his career. Hopefully he'll be more open to it, you know, and embracing that role, because so many of us love it.
Yes.
You know,
he would be tremendous to. I'm sure he's got some interesting stories about making it. The hardest person from Neverending Story to get hold of is, because Noah does do press for Neverending Story, as does Tammy, who played the childlike Empress. But it's Barrett Oliver, who has shied away from everything now. And he's a professor of vintage photography. And he looks very different. He looks very different.
Oh yeah, isn't that the I posted his picture once?
See if I can find his modern photo at the moment. There we go. Post that photo in our Discord for everyone to see. That's right, Kelvin. Eunice is a sorceress and Turok were a couple and they've turned enemies.
Again, with the doors opening. If I knocked and the door opened by itself, I would just leave the apartment. I'd be like, you know, I'm good. Good.
I'd not be staying for this.
Wait, he's wearing a Cubs. Wait, they're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, well, they get the Golden Gate Bridge is there, so they must be.
Yeah, so but he's wearing a Cubs.
Carla, can you explain, sorry, as a British person, about the Cubs? I know they're a baseball team.
Right, they're a baseball team. And their fans they have diehard fans. I don't understand. I've never been a San Francisco Giants, Oakland A's. I grew up in the Bay Area. So that's kind of been my experience. But I think there was a team, I don't know if it was Chicago Cubs, but they were like cursed or something where they couldn't win. They couldn't get to the playoffs for like decades and decades. And like they finally broke through a couple years ago, something like that. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. People can correct me in the chat. But I just thought, you know, someone, you know, for them to be in Italy, to say, hey, let's give this guy a Chicago Cubs t-shirt. I don't know if it was him, the actor was like, I want to wear this. Or they were like, this is American, put this on.
It could be that whole thing of it's American. And also, don't forget, we're seeing a lot of like Coca-Cola everywhere and maybe the Pep. I wonder if maybe the Pepsi label was altered because the prop was some Italian writing on the bottle or something. Because the Coke cans would basically be the same wherever, but I think the Pepsi bottle might be slightly different. Mad Matt saying, why do these sets remind me of the Benny Hill joke? Do you have a lot of rooms? No, we have a lot of paint. Yeah. Again, this is not appropriate.
Not at all.
He must have a very sort of small apartment because he's got a fridge with his food in his library.
Maybe he has a studio or something.
I don't know. Oh, Embry says Boston, the curse of Babe Ruth. Is that what you're referring to?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, baseball and I, no. So.
I'm British. I don't have a clue.
That chair is small. It's a small chair. Okay.
I guess if you're a little person, you probably buy appropriate sized furniture.
Yeah. Is that a chess game on his table? Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a chess set. Looks like a very nice kind of table with a built-in chess set. Probably because it's shot in Italy, it's probably it looks like a piece of Italian furniture. I guess though, if you are a little person about it with small chairs, you don't buy a chair that you have to take a running jump to get into, sort of thing.
Right, right.
Oh dear. This is a case of watch your words very carefully. For an English professor, he's very careless with how he speaks. Don't let him have a genie and a lamp either, because that would get him into trouble.
Right. So it's interesting. So this actor plays Torok the troll, but who did Torok's voice? He is the hardest working man in show business.
Oh, I think I know. I think I know. He's one of those people who's got like thousands of credits to his name, just about. One of the most prolific voice actors. Let me guess. Would it be Frank Welker?
Yes, you are correct.
It's either Peter Cullen or Frank Welker for basically every voiceover in the 80s.
Exactly. He did Torok as well as some of the other goblins and fairies in this film.
Calbot's saying, so no monkey paws for Malcolm. No.
Nope. Now, if I could live forever, maybe I wouldn't want to be a mushroom, but I could be an elf.
I don't know, really. It depends how much freedom and how much of yourself you retain.
Right.
I don't know if I'd want to be the wood nymph running around in the woods naked for eternity. I don't think I'd be... It does seem that these creatures that get created are very much pigeonholed into what they have to do. Oh no. Has she multiplied now? Is what they turn into possibly a reflection of who they were? They've turned into like these unpleasant creatures because he was an unpleasant creature.
Possibly.
She was a nice person, so she's turned into like the nymphs, kind of a nicer person. Embry's saying she's multiplying, her boyfriend's gonna have a fun time, but the question is, what's happened to her boyfriend?
Exactly, because I think Torok got rid of him.
Unless turned him into an identical wood nymph as his girlfriend.
Right, or maybe a tree or something.
Eric says she ate him. And Bad Matt says, Carla's monkey paw wish is granted. You can live forever as an elf on a shelf.
Thanks, Bad Matt.
Yeah, again, within a week of moving in the apartment block, some crazy old lady upstairs in a funeral dress walks to my house with a spear.
Right.
I have questions.
I mean, I know parents in the 80s were kind of hands off and there were a lot of like latchkey kids and stuff, but these parents are really just like not involved.
They're not absent parents. They are there all the
No,
time.
they're
They're
there.
never not in the home.
Right, but they just, I guess, they just like, well, kids are kids. We're just gonna let them do their thing. As long as there's no blood, there's no death, nobody's dying.
It does seem a
Um,
very strange. At least we didn't see the full kind of changing.
right. Now I know what they were trying to do here, like getting him to look
Yeah.
like Malcolm, but it's still really weird and creepy.
But the other thing as well, didn't Malcolm say he wanted to be a bit bigger?
um, I don't know. Oh,
It's
yeah,
a bit
because he was like,
strange.
he's super tiny.
Yeah, he's turned. Edward the Black Prince says, forget this, let the kids deal with the killer troll. I'm going back to reading the paper.
Exactly. So I know we've said this a couple of times about his name being Harry Potter Jr.
Mm.
And how Troll came out 11 years before the first Harry Potter novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And, you know, chalk it up to coincidence. J.K. Rowling says she's never heard of Troll, the movie. She doesn't know. She just based the name on her friend. But the creators of Troll were not convinced. And they did file a lawsuit like back in 2008,
Yeah, you can
accusing
imagine they'd
her.
want some of that sweet Harry Potter billions,
Exactly.
wouldn't they?
Exactly. But because they wanted to make a sequel and they were having some problems like doing a sequel or doing a remake because of the name Harry Potter. But they were thinking, people in the industry was like, more so was like probably Warner Brothers or whatever production company
Yeah.
that was getting in the way, and less so J.K. Rowling and her books.
I've got to be honest though. I would say that I don't think the character's name in this is important at all. I think, even if they made a sequel, if it was that important, he could become Harry Smith. It wouldn't really matter. It's not like it's an essential part of the character.
Right, right.
And I suppose the problem would be with any kind of lawsuit like that, you'd have to find. I think I remember it was with another TV show or movie. I'm trying to remember this, whereby they had to look in a phone book and a character got renamed because they could only find one person with a character's name. So the lawsuit, they changed a character's name. I think it was a Star Trek character. I'm trying to remember this. It was a Star Trek character. They changed his name because there was only one person in America with this name, so they could be open to a lawsuit. So they changed the surname to something else where there were like hundreds of that person with that name. Then it meant no frivolous lawsuits could come against them.
Right, right.
So they are sharing a bedroom. That's why they've got 2 for 1 on the princess beds.
Yes. And the princess bed looks like the bed from Poltergeist.
It does.
Similar.
Yeah, what magazine is she reading? That doesn't look age
I know.
appropriate.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a very I think it's an imagination of what an 80s teen bedroom, well, an 80s kid's bedroom was. Because by the bed, they even had one of those clocks, the cat clocks where the eyes went with the tail.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed next to her bed. It's like someone got some kind of an 80s home furnishing catalog and just gone, that.
So, okay, so I have a question for the chat. So I posted this on the social media and I wanted to hear what you guys thought. So I'll post it in the chat. If there's a battle between Torok the troll and the leprechaun, who would win between those two?
I think the leprechaun myself, he's more vocal.
He would sass him to death. He would sass Torok to death.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because a lot, like majority of the people said leprechaun.
Wow. I think I'd go the leprechaun as well.
But see, I thought maybe Torok, because Torok in this, he was strong, but if he loses the ring, I guess he loses his power. Whereas the leprechaun, you know, is not dependent on having a ring or anything for power.
Yeah, I guess if the troll hasn't got his amulet and his ring.
Mad Matt said leprechaun by the sheer number of sequels. Yes, how would Torok do in the hood or in space?
Yes.
So here we get the backstory.
Quite late in the film.
Yeah.
Okay. Buckle in. We're getting our exposition dump right now.
Exactly. At least it comes with pictures.
Yeah.
Storybook. This is giving me very like Middle Earth.
Yeah.
You know. Was the Hobbit, the animated Hobbit, popular in the UK?
Ish.
In the 80s?
Not huge.
Not huge.
No. Strangely enough, one of the other movies that I know we've done some social posts on here was shown on TV quite a lot, probably more than The Hobbit, which was Flight of Dragons, was shown quite a few times here.
Okay.
Which I think is quite an underrated fantasy movie.
Yeah, that's a good question. What are folks' favorite fantasy films?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite or favorites?
Well, I'm not going to say some of the ones that are my favorites because I've scheduled a lot of the watch parties and I don't want to reveal all the watch parties to everybody.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I was going to say, someone said Pit Torok versus the Impy and Slime Bowl-O-Rama.
Yeah. So Torok's basically conquering San Francisco one apartment at a time.
Yes. Yes. Now, I don't know about San Francisco back then, but San Francisco today, as soon as he hit the Tenderloin district, it would be game over. Yeah. He wouldn't survive. He wouldn't get through the Tenderloin district in San Francisco. Not gonna happen. I don't know if you've ever visited there.
No.
Whew. Just Google it.
It's rough.
It's rough. I mean, and there's no amount of gentrification. They've tried to gentrify that 100 ways to Sunday, and it's just not taking.
Wow. Oh, Onzi's joining us just now.
Hey, Onzi.
Hope you're enjoying the watch party. I couldn't make it this time out and just got back. That's okay, Auntie. Oh, Spirited Away,
Oh,
Edward.
Spirited Away.
Oh, that's a tremendous one.
Oh
Unfortunately,
my gosh.
I don't think we can. Well, it's an amazing film, but I don't think we can do it
is.
on a watch party. Unfortunately, yet it's too.
Yeah.
Even with my even though I pled to the gods of CREATORVC and we managed to get the rules bent a little bit with the years. Yeah, Onzi, the movie is nearly done. We are about a minute and 6 or 7 through, and it's a 1:22.
Oh, I always love this reveal when she takes
yes.
down her hair, she turns into her daughter. And I didn't know they were mother-daughter back, when I was younger. I was like, oh, that's so cool. How did they get her to look young? Did they have old makeup on her all the time,
I do wonder if when they cast the mom, if they said, will you have a role for my daughter in the movie? Because Anne's career, unfortunately, as much as I like Anne Lockhart and a lot of things, if you look at her career on Internet Movie Database,
yeah,
it's unfortunately very much gone to uncredited named characters in TV shows now.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Chicago Fire, she's played dispatcher and emergency nurse. And in Law and Order, she played policewoman uncredited. So it's a shame.
So folks are saying Dark Crystal, The Last Unicorn,
yeah. Legend,
Labyrinth, Legend.
Yeah, well, we've got you covered with some great stuff with our In Search of Legends watch parties. Oh, there's a lot of love for Never-Ending Story. Everyone loves that movie.
It is based on a book, right?
Yes.
An actual book. Okay.
Yeah, The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah. Okay. I've not read. I didn't read that book.
No, it's a German book.
Oh, it's not an English publication.
It is, but apparently the original German's better.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we got some requests for Labyrinth and Dragon Slayer as well from our friends on YouTube, from Mikhail on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
I think I can tell you there will be a Labyrinth watch party this year, because who doesn't love some Labyrinth?
Exactly. It'd be awesome if you could do like some sort of like sing along to magic dance.
Oh, magic dance, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to show you a thing right now. If I just say to our Discord community while this film's carrying on, if I just say the words, "You remind me of the babe," all the words to the song will now be quoted by everybody in the Discord.
Exactly. True story. Went to college, first time away from home, kind of nervous, unsure about the roommate, busted out with the magic song, and we're best friends for life. She was like, "You remind me of the babe." I'm like, "What babe? The babe with the power." I was like, "Okay,
power.
Yeah."
There we go. They're going for it.
Yeah.
Movie guy as well. Yeah. Remind me of the babe. What babe? Babe with the power of voodoo. Who do you do? What? Remind me of the babe. That's your geek credentials. I suggest anybody, if you're ever going on a date with someone who's a geek, you ask them that question. If they don't answer after the first line, you just pay the bill and say, "I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out."
Exactly.
He does very little in this film, to be honest, Harry Potter Jr.
I know.
He mainly drinks hot chocolate and eats pancakes.
And looks scared.
Yeah. Oh, Kelvin Fraser says Conan the Barbarian. Well, we've already done Conan the Barbarian last week as a watch party, and it was tremendous. But other movies they like are Sword and the Sorcerer, Legend, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Seventh Son. Any of those that are sort of early, late 70s, all the 80s, and very early 90s are ones we may do watch parties on.
Mm-hmm.
Are you now worried that the tree stump's not going to make you pancakes, Harry? Is that the kind of...
That tree stump is almost weirding me out as much as the Sunny Bono.
Yeah, it is quite creepy.
Yeah. You know, I know that the director, John Carl Buechler, he did a lot of stuff with Charles Band, and but he also, you know, I think he's really the only, he did all three heavy hitters. I know he did Friday the 13th Part 7, directed and did the special effects work, the makeup work. He also did work on Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Halloween 4.
Wow.
So he kind of has like the trifecta of special effects work.
Yeah, I'd be closing the door and just going, hell no, I'm noping out of this. Yep, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I listened to the tree stump too.
Well, yeah, but the question is, I would worry where my kid, as a responsible parent, I think you'd worry where your kids were.
Yeah, because they're not in the house.
I'd be going, where are the kids? Are the kids in the house? If they're not, where are they? You know, you would hope they would have a modicum of, well, we've seen they are
right.
Are these the worst movie parents?
I know. Well,
ever?
they're probably like, well, you know, we can adopt. You can always adopt a child.
Well, they don't apply any discipline to the kids, that's for sure.
No discipline. They didn't even yell out their kids' names in the house. No. You know, after they closed the door, like, Harry, Wendy, like, nope. Not at all.
I really like some of this film, but I want more of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him just immediately having the magic spear that he can set to set his sister free, but maybe they didn't have, or most likely they didn't have the budget for it. I want a bit of a quest, but would it be too similar to Never-Ending Story, sending him on another quest to rescue his sister?
Right. Now this right here, the vines coming out the top of the building, that did not age very well at all. But
it's not the weirdest thing they've seen in San Francisco. No, they've lived there for a while.
No, not at all. I was just about to say, no, not at all. No, I think this big troll monster is pretty cool.
Yeah. I will say, considering they've lived there a relatively short number of days, they've really got the apartment up and going pretty quick.
Yeah, they did. And again, the girl couldn't be hurt, because if the girl's hurt, he needs like one fairy princess for his realm. So yeah.
Yeah, this is where things have just got out of hand for the troll.
Yeah.
Edward says again, paper, forget kids. Yep, just read the paper and don't worry about the kids.
So back in 2007, the director was working on a sequel, like, or a remake, and it was going to star Noah Hathaway.
Okay.
but then they got stuck in development hell. But then 2011, they said, okay, no remake. We're going to do a sequel with Anne Lockhart, Noah Hathaway, and Phil coming back. And then by 2015, it morphed into an animated prequel. Was going to have Noah Hathaway and Patricia Arquette. We're going to do voices. But unfortunately, the director passed away before he was able to see it through. But yeah, they had settled on Troll, The Rise of Harry Potter Jr. That was the name of the prequel.
Embry says that's a huge apartment. And Jedi Wizard says getting a Hellbound Hellraiser 2 vibe there. Question I have is, do they lose their deposit?
Yes, you're not getting your deposit back in San Francisco.
No, not with what you've done to the apartment.
I love how they have this very kind of poltergeist ending where it's like, we're getting out of here. We're just like grabbing our clothes. We're leaving other stuff behind. We're just getting in our station wagon and we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't.
He get knocked over. I don't understand.
He got knocked over, had the spear taken from him.
Yes.
And actually her true love saved the little girl.
Yes.
It's a very weird ending to it as well.
Yes. It's like, okay, the weird vine monster thing is gone now. And that building from the outside looked like it would have more units inside than just like 5 or 6 people.
Well, what about trying to check on, I'll check the side of the building. What about as a responsible policeman checking on the other tenants in the apartment building?
Right? That's not there, it's not come out.
Yes.
I'm surprised like the police union hasn't filed like some sort of defamation lawsuit against Hollywood or something. I mean, because cops in horror movies are just ridiculous.
That is a big laundry room though.
Yes. They're like, oh, we got to get more use out of this cool set and this cool wood machine.
Okay, so everyone, that was Troll. It's a lot of fun.
Troll. It is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun and a crazy, weird film. I do get the feeling the kind of the stinger at the end there was definitely just bolted on with no real intention of making a true sequel to it at the time. Okay, but everyone, thank you for joining us. It's been absolutely wonderful with our friends who've joined us over first on YouTube. I can see we've had Doug Curtis, Rainbow Fright, Joshua Nelson, Movie Guy 78, Kelvin Fraser, Mikhail Debrugin and Zach Wright all joining us. Forgive me if I missed anyone out. And then, of course, everyone who joined us on Discord. We've got Embry, we've got Jedi Wizard, we've got Onzi, we've got Calbot, we've got Eric, we've got Edward the Black Prince. If I'm trying to see if I've missed anyone else.
Hannah
Rose Artist. Yeah. If anyone else, speak now or forever hold your peace. It's been a lot of fun, this one has. But next week, we will be back with a highly requested movie. In fact, one of our most requested movies ever for a watch party. It's going to be an In Search of Tomorrow science fiction watch party. It will be Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which everyone loves. Nice. I don't know a person who doesn't love that movie. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for that. And then we are going to be doing the week after, because I'll give you everyone an early warning of it. It's going to be falling, I think, under our In Search of kind of Legends Tomorrow banner. One of our first 90s movies. We will be watching The Rocketeer.
Yay!
So we've got next couple of weeks are going to be brilliant.
Yes, that gives me warm, fuzzy feelings. The Rocketeer is such a well done film, like just well done. I'm excited for that one. Definitely excited for that one. Yeah,
exactly. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, this was a lot of fun hanging out with everyone today. Brainwire, again, just saw Brainwire popping up, but like I say, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure next week and the week after The Rocketeer. We've got such a great lineup from the rest of the year. I mean, Carla can see my list of movies, and we've got some real gems planned for everyone.
Yes, you're in for some treats coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So, going back to Troll, let's start doing this. I want everyone to give this film a rating out of 10. We'll start doing this at the end of our watch parties, a new thing now for our audience. So on YouTube, tell me your score out of 10. Discord, tell me your score out of 10, and we'll go with Carla. How many out of 10 would you give this?
I will give this, I'm going to give this a 7.
I think it's a solid 7.
I think it's a solid 7. Yeah.
It's better than a 6, but it's not an 8.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you. It's got its flaws and problems, but it's got some good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Let's see what our community says. Brainwise says it's a 7.
7.
Let's see if anyone on YouTube replies. Edward the Black Prince says it's a 6. Okay.
Okay.
Onzi says it's a 5. Phonic says it's a 6. Eric says it's a 6. Just waiting for a few more. Let's see if anyone else. Oh, Doug Curtis over on YouTube says it's a 7. Joshua Nelson on YouTube says it's a 7. And Jedi Wizard says it's a 7 for originality. Embry says it's a solid 6. Aside from the odd parenting, I found it good. Movie Guy 78 says 7 is fair. Let's see. I think Mad Matt is just going to come up with his score now. Here we go. Always wait with bated breath for the last score. Oh wow, Kelvin Fraser says it's a 9. Wow.
Okay, Kelvin.
I'll respect that if you really love it. Onzi says Troll 2 is a 10. No, Troll 2 is not a 10. Oh, Mad Matt says it's a 5. It's a bit hit or miss.
Hit or miss. Okay.
Calbot says it's a 5. It's quite a divisive film, this, I'd say. It really
also,
is.
It'll be interesting to see if folks who rate it lower, if this is like their first time watching it, or if they watched it a lot growing up,
Yeah, exactly. But it's been a great fun time tonight watching this, a classic. It is a classic 80s film. It's an unusual one. But no, it's been wonderful. But anyway, let's draw the night to a close. Thank you again, Carla, for joining me. As I say, we will be back next week with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I just can't wait for because it's just pure fun, that movie. And then the week after, it will be The Rocketeer. So can't wait for that as well. But thank you, Carla, for joining us. Everyone, be kind to each other, stay safe, look after each other, and we will see you in 7 days' time. Bye-bye.
Bye.